Coming up on BCN today. 15 more cases of whooping cough reported in the region, and Alberta Health Services declares an outbreak. Plus, Lethbridge police execute a search warrant early this morning at a residence at 43rd Street South. And British Prime Minister Boris Johnson negotiates a new Brexit deal with the European Union.
Your Canada. Your Southern Alberta. Your stories. From our studios in the heart of Lethbridge, it's BCN Today with Jeanette Roche.
Hello, thanks for joining us. Lethbridge police executed a search warrant early this morning at a residence in the 4000 block of 43rd Street South. Members of Lethbridge Police Service's Critical Incidents Response Team were on the scene dealing with the matter. The public was not in any danger, but were asked to avoid the area. We will have updates for you on social media as more information comes in. 15 more outbreaks of pertussis has been confirmed in the west part of Alberta Health Services South Zone, bringing the total now to 42 cases of whooping cough for 2019. This includes the communities of Lethbridge, Raymond, and Lethbridge County.
We're asking individuals to sort of have heightened surveillance, to be aware about whooping cough, same as all our physicians and our emergency departments. But it's a little bit of an interesting disease. As I said earlier, some have mild disease, and sometimes you bring a child in, the child seems okay. And there's a history of a child really coughing and turning blue and or vomiting after coughing, yet right at that moment, it may look okay. So really to raise awareness and to make sure that people seek medical attention when there's an ongoing cough.
People who suspect they or a family member may be sick with pertussis are advised to stay at home and call a doctor or health links at 811 before seeking medical care. An Edmonton area teacher faces child pornography charges. The 31-year-old man taught at Spruce Grove Composite High School. He's been charged with possessing child porn following an investigation by Alert's Internet Child Exploitation, or ICE unit. The ICE unit arrested Christopher Jacques on October 11th with the assistance of Parkland County RCMP. The investigation remains ongoing and additional charges are possible. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has negotiated a new Brexit deal with the European Union, but it doesn't mean that he can get Parliament to approve it. Northern Ireland's Democratic Unionist Party, the Scottish National Party, Labour and the Liberal Democrats are all vowing to vote against Prime Minister Boris Johnson's new Brexit deal. Many opposition MPs continue to insist that a second referendum is needed to sort out Britain's exit from the European Union. With just 4 days left to go until Election Day, there is increasing talk of a minority government. Most polls continue to show the Liberals and Conservatives deadlocked. Liberal leader Justin Trudeau will be focusing on hotly contested ridings in Quebec today, while in Montreal on Wednesday, Trudeau accused the Conservatives of running one of the dirtiest, nastiest campaigns that Canada has ever seen. Trudeau went on to say that Canadians are saddened to see some parties running polarizing and negative campaigns using tactics imported from other countries.
We are, I think all of us as Canadians, a little saddened to see the polarizing negative nature of the campaign being run by some of our opponents, which is directly imported from the challenging electoral situations we see in fellow democracies around the world. We also know that Andrew Scheer and the Conservatives are choosing to play very divisive games and to use the politics of fear and division to try and get Canadians to vote for them. And I think Conservatives need to continue to be called out on the nasty negative campaign that they're running, because Canadians deserve better.
Former U.S. President Barack Obama tweeted his support for Trudeau, saying the world needs progressive leadership. Meanwhile, Conservative leader Andrew Scheer is campaigning in the Toronto area today before heading to Pictou County, Nova Scotia. Scheer says his party is going to surprise a lot of people on Monday. He's predicting victory and sidestepped a question during an appearance on CTV's morning show about whether he would resign if he didn't win a majority. While at a campaign stop in Essex, Ontario earlier this week, Scheer promised reforms to ethics and accountability laws to address what he says are loopholes that allowed Trudeau to violate ethics laws and face little penalty.
Over the last 4 years, he has demonstrated time and time again that he is unworthy of that office. He is unworthy of the trust Canadians placed in him 4 years ago to respect taxpayer dollars and safeguard our democracy against corruption. His ongoing scandals and cover-ups have caused Canadians to lose faith in the integrity of their government. For breaking the Conflict of Interest Act not only once, but twice, Justin Trudeau faced absolutely no consequences. That's because there are no consequences attached under the law. Now, Canadians expect accountability from their leaders, and that's what I will deliver.
NDP leader Jagmeet Singh started off today at a diner in Welland, Ontario. He promised the new Democratic government would make sure that anyone needing medication would use their health care card and not their credit card. On Wednesday, Singh honored the memory of his predecessor, Jack Layton, while visiting Jack Layton Park in Hudson, Quebec.
I want to take a moment just to talk about being here at the park, Le Parc Jack Layton. It's an inspiration. Jack was someone that was able to win over the hearts of Canada, Canadians, win over the hearts of Quebecers. And he did that not just with his personality, which was pretty amazing, and not with just his ability to connect with people, but because of his values of fighting social injustice and to defend our planet and the environment. And we want to build on that. We want to build on that dream that Jack had to connect the progressives of Quebec with those across Canada and build a better future together.
Today marks the first anniversary of pot being legal, and police say there's still a long way to go towards stomping out the black market and pot-impaired driving. Abbotsford, BC Chief Constable Mike Sear says the market share for organized crime and youth consumption haven't dropped, and police are still lacking tools to detect stoned drivers. Stats Canada says just over 4 in 10 consumers report buying at least some of their pot illegally, with most saying it's because the price of legal cannabis is still too high. More construction is underway at the North Side's Legacy Park.
In Legacy Park, we've started a few construction projects. The Spray Park has been under construction for a little bit, but they're still on site. Right beside to that, to the east side, we've just started construction of the new community pavilion building, and that includes some community rental space, a concession, washrooms, change rooms for the Spray Park, and just across the parking lot there's going to be a new picnic shelter, a group picnic shelter that can be booked by groups that want to have larger events.
Construction for that is expected to wrap up by the end of summer 2020. Logan Boulet's legacy will be honored this weekend at the ATB Centre. For a second straight year, Lethbridge Minor Hockey will host a tournament in remembrance of the former Humboldt Bronco. Ainsley O'Reilly explains why this tournament means so much for the hockey community.
The late Logan Boulet's parents, Bernie and Toby, will be dropping the puck at the second annual Logan Boulet Minor Hockey Tournament. For organizers, naming the tournament after him was a no-brainer.
Logan played for the team, and it was an opportunity to remember him. I obviously have a connection with him. Logan was my nephew. So with that, when the opportunity came to name the tournament after him, we jumped at it.
It's a huge thing for everyone in the hockey community here. Anything that has to do with Logan. Personally, from a personal point, I never really had a big impact on Logan's hockey career. I did have him affiliated to my midget AAA team when I did coach in 2012. He went on to play 15-year-olds that year, and that's why this is so special.
8 different teams from all over the country will be at the ATB Centre October 17th through 19th. every single player will be in the 15-year age bracket, a time that coaches and organizers say is critical for a young player's development and future career.
It's a unique group because it's one age group, but it's also the year before a lot of these kids move on to play junior hockey. They have to make a lot of decisions at 15, whether they want to pursue a college route, whether they want to go the junior route.
That's where the most growth, physically, mentally, and in their skill development is done, because of mostly in growth.
The M15 team hoisted the first place trophy last season, and this year's squad is looking to defend the title. For Bridge City News, I'm Ainsley O'Reilly.
Thank you, Ainsley. Alberta families affected by the Humboldt Broncos bus crash say they will continue to fight for changes to provincial trucking regulations. 16 people were killed and 13 injured when an inexperienced Calgary truck driver ran a stop sign and barreled into the path of the junior hockey team's bus in Saskatchewan last year. 5 families joined Alberta NDP opposition leader Rachel Notley to support her call for an emergency debate on the issue in the legislature. The families say they are upset by changes to training and testing requirements for new truck drivers.
You know, this topic is got to be of the utmost priority, and every time we put an inexperienced driver on the road, like seriously, we are literally flipping that coin. And so we've got to just stop and make sure that they realize, the government realizes that, you know, we can't waste a day here. We know within the prairie provinces, they have had, you know, some delays in getting the stricter driving training done, but they haven't made the exemptions, and there's so much uncertainty in Alberta right now because we don't know where this government's going to go with that. So today we just wanted to stand solid to say that it needs to be taken seriously, and there should be absolutely no exemptions, and training and safety can't be compromised.
It's been over a year and a half since we lost our brother and my mom lost her son, and like, this isn't about NDP versus UCP. This is about safety, and the longer we discuss this issue, the longer inexperienced drivers are on the road and another person could lose their life. My brother was 18 and he didn't get to do a lot of things that my sister and I are going to be able to do. I don't want another 18-year-old or another child or another adult to lose their life because of money. Like, we're talking about costs here.
It's a decent day in southern Alberta today with highs around 15 degrees but increasing wind. Complete weather details are coming up after the break. Welcome back. Here's a look at our weather highlights for Lethbridge. Today we've got sunny skies with the increasing cloud, high of 15 degrees, wind gusting to 50 kilometers per hour. Tomorrow, mainly sunny skies with a high of 12 degrees and a low of 3 degrees. Coming up for the 5-day forecast, Saturday, increasing cloud, high of 11 degrees, but sunshine back in the forecast for Sunday with a high of 9 degrees. Monday, mix of sun and cloud in the sky there, 9-degree high. Tuesday, Wednesday, very similar situation there with the clouds and sun, a high of 12 degrees on Tuesday and a high of 9 on Wednesday. The almanac tells us that the average high should be 14 degrees this time of year. The average low is 0. The highest temperature on this day was in 1963. It was 26 degrees. The lowest temperature was -10, and that was back in 1992. The sun rose this morning just before 8 a.m. Can you believe that? Look how short these days are getting. 7:55 a.m. was the sunrise, and it will be setting this evening at 20 to 7. Looking to the national forecast, Victoria, mainly rain there. Rain also in Vancouver, 13 degrees, 12 degrees for those cities. 14 degrees up in Edmonton with a mix of sun and cloud. Much the same for Calgary, mix of sun and cloud there with a high of 14 degrees. Over in the prairies, Saskatoon, high of 18 degrees, increasing cloudiness there. Lots of sunshine though in the forecast for Regina with a high of 18 degrees. Should be a lovely day there. Winnipeg, a little bit different story there. Chance of rain there with a high of 8 degrees. Toronto, and Ottawa, Montreal. We've got a very heavy rainfall in these three areas here. Toronto, high of 11, high of 10 in Ottawa, high of 9 degrees in Montreal, but lots and lots of rain. Fredericton, we're also seeing some showers there as well. 12-degree high. Halifax, 14. Rain showers is there as well. Charlottetown, we got a chance of thunderstorms up there. 13 degrees. Lots of wind also in the Maritimes, increasing wind. St. John's will be sunny and 10 degrees. Here's a look at what's happening in your community.
Here's your Bridge City News Community Calendar. The United Way Coats for Kids and Families campaign continues until October 31st, accepting new and gently used winter wear for families in need in the community. Accepted items include new or gently used coats, mittens, scarves, snow pants, snow boots, and new hats and toques. Items can be dropped off at United Way and any Lethbridge TD Canada Trust or ATB Financial Branch. For more information, call 403-327-1700. Come for an amazing time to the McNally Community Association's Tex-Mex Fiesta fundraiser on Saturday, October 19th at the McNally Community Center. The evening begins with dinner at 7 p.m., with entertainment at 8 and a barn dance at 8:30. Music provided by the Great Canadians Barn Dance Band. Plus, a silent auction and raffle draw will be taking place at the event. Tickets are $50 per person and can be purchased at Western Stockman. For more information, visit mcnallycommunity.ca. Men, young and old alike, are invited to come join the Lethbridge Christian Men's Choir. Practices are held every Thursday from 7:30 to 9 p.m. at Trinity Reformed Church. The choir practices are in preparation for Christmas and spring concerts, as well as occasional performances at the hospital and seniors' homes. For more information, call 403-328-7985. And that's your Bridge City News Community Calendar.
What do lemons and sweat have in common? Well, I'll tell you in today's daily life hack. Armpit stains are an eyesore to see, and they can depreciate your clothing faster. But this life hack will help you out in that troublesome area. You can remove underarm sweat stains from your clothes by spraying lemon juice on the area before washing them. And that's your daily life hack. Lemons. Who knew? Well, today is the 1-year anniversary that Canada has legalized pot. And here's an interesting pot-related story. A Lethbridge woman with terminal brain cancer has shocked the medical community after using a specific form of cannabis oil that she says has removed the remaining part of her tumor.
Sherry Ann Baker is convinced that a form of cannabis oil called Rick Simpson has shrunk the remaining part of a golf ball-sized tumor in her brain. Her last MRI says that the tumor is completely cleared, and her most recent medical report even used words like unremarkable.
I do 1 gram of Rick Simpson oil a day, and this is keeping me alive. I had no radiation, I've had no chemo, I've refused it. They've pushed it on me several times, and I keep telling them absolutely not, because with my research and talking to other people, to doctors, other cancer patients, to growers, to activists, to God, there's so many of us out there. Cannabis heals.
The oil contains a higher amount of THC, a component of marijuana that makes you feel high. The Government of Canada is set to make edibles and hash legal in October, but Rick Simpson oil will remain illegal. Sherry Ann does not care.
I don't know if that'll ever become legal. And that's why we need people to listen to our stories, because it needs to be legal. And people need to start getting behind us and supporting us and helping us, because it is a cure for cancer. And there's hundreds, if not thousands of people out there that are still living because of it, but are too afraid to talk about it. But you know what? When I was told 2 years ago that I have 5 to 10 years to live at most, even with my tumor removed, I don't care if it's illegal or not. It's saving my life, and I'm going to tell as many people as I can.
Melissa Rolston, CEO of Team MD, a holistic company that works with patients and their specific healthcare needs, says that when it comes to cannabis as medicine, there is no one-size-fits-all approach.
eventually, in time, cannabinoid therapy being prescribed alongside chemo treatment that's done in a way that's similar to chronic pain patients being prescribed opioids with cannabinoid therapy to reduce their the amount of opioid that they're taking. And I really think that could be a possibility with cancer.
Sherry Ann eats clean and is in exceptional shape. All choices that she says are easy to make when fighting for her life.
I work out every day. I was in the gym. 2 weeks after I had brain surgery. Okay, seriously. And yeah, like I said, it was a bit of a process. I staggered and I stumbled, but I became strong because I had to become strong. And I became a fighter because I have to fight because I want to live. And this is what I've done. And I just want other people to know my story. Like I said, I'm not God. God forbid. I am not God. But this is all I've done. I mean, it's not all I've done. I've worked hard, and you have to be very disciplined. But like I said, I want to live.
For Bridge City News, I'm Ainsley O'Reilly.
Thousands of Jewish people from around the world are expected to immigrate to Israel this year, fulfilling the words of the biblical prophets. This was the scene when the first plane load arrived at the Tel Aviv airport. Chris Mitchell from Global News Alliance reports.
A big welcome party called Choosing Israel awaited 200 new immigrants who arrived in Israel to make the Jewish state their home.
It's so crazy. The people here waiting for us, the party, the music, the entire enjoy of this is magic.
I'm always excited when I see new immigrants coming on Aliyah to Eretz Israel, to the ancient homeland.
Itzhak Herzog is chairman of the Jewish Agency, the quasi-governmental organization responsible for Aliyah, or immigration to Israel.
They're all here in one big event which epitomizes the great plight of the Jewish people in their return to their ancient homeland.
These are the first arrivals on special flights this summer. They came from France, Russia, and Latin America.
This year we'll have 30,000 immigrants from 40 countries. It's an incredible story.
Among the newcomers are Brazilian and Argentinian singles.
I'm an actress, so I want to try to work with that. I'm also a makeup artist, so I came with that idea.
Here, I'm going to study Hebrew in Kibbutz Magan Michael, and then I'll be in the army for a year and a half. And then, like all Israelis, I will travel, and then I'll return to study music in Jerusalem.
First, I want to really learn Hebrew, okay? So I'm going to do Ulpan, very intensive right now. Then, well, I will start searching job as a scientist.
They came for different reasons.
When I was little, I was living here with my family for a while, like 4 months, and I fell in love with this country and the people and the culture, so I always want to come back here.
The economic situation is really great. Okay, neighborhood countries are not the best things, but I don't have to worry when I walk through the streets really here.
And I came to Israel because I'm a Zionist, I love Israel, and I'm hoping to make it my home.
Abraham Shevelin from Ohio has been here for just 1 week. He came back to the airport to welcome the newcomers.
I'm learning some Hebrew back in America. I'm good with thankfully I'm very good at languages. I speak Chinese fluently. I plan on doing business with China and Israel. And if I can do Chinese, I can hopefully do Hebrew, right?
Many would see their arrival as the fulfillment of God's word when he said he would regather Israel and plant them in the land. Chris Mitchell, CBN News.
Looks like a huge party. Mental health is an increasing problem in our society. Hal Roberts had the opportunity to discuss this with psychologist and best-selling author Greg Jans.
So when we talk about extremes, we're seeing such things as high levels of addiction, high levels of anxiety, and it's a real increase. In certain ages, we're seeing 12 to 17, especially high levels of depression, anxiety. And unfortunately, men ages about 50 and above is the second highest growing rate of depression and suicide.
That interview is coming up in the second half of our show, so keep it right here.